Hey dreamers, it is time to continue with the creation of the Halloween scene. And I'm not going to do an whole intro again because I already did that in the very first video. I have no time to lose, so just going to straight into it. A bit of a recap for those who haven't seen the very first video, which you should, by the way. We are going to make an Halloween scene, just like a really quick, or not a quick, or like I will be as fast as possible as I can. I'm going to make an Halloween scene with a manor in the distance, a gateway, a little bit of like trees and some pumpkins here and there, a little bit of like spooky scene. And it's going to be for aesthetics, for like just like in one or multiple camera angles that you can look around, maybe some light changes. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, depending on how much time I have left. Of course, I only have like a small month to go, so it's a small amount of time. I'm not going to do every little bit of recording of every sculpt that I'm going to do in this creation, because that will only make things a lot like slower for me. But I will do some highlights here and there that I think like, hey, this is maybe fun to watch, to see how I'm sculpting, how I paint stuff, and other stuff I'm just going to create and sculpt on my own. This whole creation is going to build from the ground up. That means every sculpt that you're going to see, it's going to be made by me on my own hand. So not like how I did the Once Upon a Time 2. That was mostly created by community assets, all combined together and make something beautiful out of it. And now I'm just going to do everything from the ground up again. So a little bit of like, yeah, a little bit like in between, some like, sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that. And this is like a new project that I'm going to do, building from the ground up. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. And today we are going for the painting. We're going to paint this pillar that we made in the previous video. It is a pillar, yeah, and it's maybe a little bit weird one, but we're going to make everything a little bit creepy and crooked. I'm going really out of my comfort zone. Like normally I like having like straight lines and stuff like that, but I don't want to go for that anymore. In this creation I kind of want to make it like a little bit, like I said, spookier. And to do that I want to go a little bit more like a little bit of like out of my comfort zone with my own style, even though my Jecta signature will be still there. If you know what I mean. So let's go into edit modes, and we're going to do this, select the hover effect. Our creation is still 1% graphics turbo, which I think I did pretty well for just like one thing. This is made out of one sculpt. So the reason why I'm doing that is just to save me a lot of time to like place more unique assets, even though it is on the PlayStation 5, but I have to keep PlayStation 4 base users still in mind that they can look at this creation as well. The details are not going to be super crazy. It's mostly like a very moody scene, dark scene, moody scene. So it's not with a lot of detail, but still, I always like to create and sculpt in one sculpt as much as possible. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint first. So what I'm going to do, like I always do with painting, I'm going to first paint the base layer color, and that's going to be gray. And then I'm going on that layer, I'm going to layer with other painting techniques to make this creation come alive. And what I mean with that, you will see pretty soon. So we're going to select the spray paint, and then we're going to find ourselves a color. I can use, of course, one of these standard default colors, but I kind of want to go a little bit for my own versions, so to say. So it should be, I don't know, I want to make it darker, but not too dark. And we're going for the sphere. Then we're going to soft blend everything. Opacity going to be as low as possible. I think around here maybe. And then we're going to paint everything in one go. There we go. Done. There you go. No, done. And then we're now going to the next. No, you're not done yet, of course. So now that I have like the base layer going on, we're going for the next layer. And the next layer is going to be, let me do a little bit of like better painting here or there. I don't want to have, there we go. Of course, we're going to tweak in the menus later on to get the right shadowing, or not shadowing, but the right reflection, everything. But I have to can only like test that in like if I have like a proper like light gadgets in the scene, so I know okay, this is like reacts like stone and stuff like that. So we will do that later on. So what we're going to do right now, because it's made out of stone, we need some stone structure to begin with. So that's what we're going to do first. We're first going to create some stone textures, and then we're going to create some shadow textures. Then we're going to create some rust, because it's an old pillar, as you could probably already tell. It's like it's all busted and damaged and stuff like that. So it has not really been here for very new. It's been there for like hundreds of years. Like maybe the mansion is like super old, or maybe from another world. Who knows? Like use your imagination. So to do the stone structure, I always do the same technique over and over. So I'm also doing it in the same way. How I always do it with stone structures is I will use the donut shape, make it smaller, add the server snap on it, and then we're going to change this color into gray white and make sure that we have no soft blend on. So make sure that this is off. So we have to make it clean as possible. And then the opacity is something that we have to play around with. I do not really know how my mirror is going to work. Yeah, so with the ball or with the spare, I don't think I'm going to use the mirror mode. Because that will look very weird. I can try maybe to speed up a little bit of sides, but I don't want to do too much because you will see that it's been mirrored. Where I can use my mirror mode is the sides of these pillars, except not the front, but the sides of these pillars I can do mirror mode. That will save me a lot of time, and then like the front and the back I have to do that manually. Like I said, I cannot do like this in mirror mode. That looks very weird if you do that. So what I can do is I'm going to spin it around. So I'm going to use my touchpad for the PlayStation 5 controller. I have a PlayStation 5 controller right now, and I'll spin it like in a very odd way. Like this or something. There you go. And then we're going to, oh, that's already not good. Let me make it smaller. And then we're going to paint over it. Like so. And only on this side it's fine to do mirror mode on. It's totally fine to do that. There we go. And also here. And I'm tapping very slowly on the surface. And then we're going to go down here. And we keep continuing doing that. Now, the base layer may be still a little bit too dark, but we're going to change that in the overall settings later on. But basically, this is how I normally do my stone structures in Dreams. Always the same technique that I'm doing. Like so. I can maybe combine them with other colors here and there as well. But as you can see, now that we are doing this still in mirror mode, so the other side is doing it as well. So that's pretty cool. I have maybe to go in this mode. There we go. I have to be careful because sometimes if you're like pressing too long, you're going to see the donut shape in the stone, which you don't want to do. So you have to be very carefully with tapping and just like do certain parts of it. There we go. And the reason why it's also good to tapping is because it will save you a little bit of like painting over it, because you don't want to end up with like a lot of like graphics turmoil. And this is probably going to rise up maybe one or two depending on how much detail I'm going to put on this. Now the good thing is that this is not going to be a scene that people can like walk around in it, so don't really have to pay much attention to all of this like high detailed or not, because like it's only for static reasons. So that's like a little like the thing that I really like right now, because I don't have to worry much for like not going to worry about the graphics terminal too much. It's only like 1 or 2 camera angles going to be placed in the scene, and that's pretty much about it. Okay, so one side has been done, basically 2 sides, because the other side is also done. And what really is cool about this is because we're not touching the exact same spots as on the other side, because the whole thing is crooked. So that's pretty cool. Now we have to turn off here the mirror mode, because I'm not going to mirror moding in the front of the sculpture, because that's going to be super looking ugly and I don't want that. So we're going to spin this, spin it to win it. There we go. And we basically, oh, maybe we should start with the ball first, with the spare, whatever you want to call this. I was first thinking to make a creature on it, but consider me like having no much time. I don't always have the best of time to create something in Dream, so I have to use my time very preciously and make sure that all the time that I'm saving is for other stuff that I can create. So there we go. Sometimes when you're moving the camera, like it stops spinning or in the direction that you want. Come on. There you go. That's the spin that I want to go for. Yeah, there's always like a little bit of a downside of this. And once we have done like the stone structure, we're going to add rust into the stone as well. So that's going to be super fun. I don't know why it's every time it wants to stop. Always doing that. So yeah, we're going to paint and like add some rust, brown, green. Because you always want to think of like this creation or like this pillar has seen a lot of like different weather along the years. So you want to make sure that is also going to be represented in the sculpt itself. So like, hey, okay, so this is great. This creation is so old, and that it has seen all the weather, different weather types, and like rain and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that we're going to do that as well. Now I can go more detailed if I want to, like put more like bump effect on the stone itself. I can do that. That is going to rise up a lot of graphics thermo. So I'm basically just like faking it with painting. And like I said, it's only for static reasons. So you don't really have to do that. As you can see, like you're going to look at from afar, right? So it's further away from the scene that this pillar is standing. So put a lot of details, like even the painting itself is like it's fading slowly away because of like the distance that you're going for, which is in this case pretty pretty good. But like if you want to like look closer to the object, it can happen that like, hey, that looks maybe a little bit weird, or maybe miss some extra structures and details, but we don't really need to. Like I'm just faking the structure with painting, so that it looks still like stone, but we don't really have to make all the bumping effects on it, like how stone in real life is. We don't really need to do that. I'm also not going for real life stuff, by the way, because it's a spooky scene that doesn't really exist in the real world. Or maybe there are some locations in the world that has something like this. I don't know. Could be. Could be. There's probably some places that maybe are just as creepy as what I'm going to create. I'm really curious like what my thermo is right now. Because I'm tapping very like randomly, but I'm a little bit afraid that. Okay, how are we doing with thermo wise? Oh, still 1%. GG, Jecta. All right. So that was the second layer. And like I said, we're not done. I also see that here we have some still the color of the base color of the stone. But what I'm going to do, like here we have some options to go for. So I'm just going to make this a little bit brighter again. So like it's going to be more stone. Now I don't really have the proper sun gadget in here. I can put something really quickly in here to see how it's going to look. But I will do that like at the final stages, or when I think like, okay, now the scene is all going to take place in like to show like how this the creation is going to look. Then I can put some lighting in there. Oh, I totally forgot this side. Oopsie poopsie. I was not done yet. I thought I was already done, but I'm not. So yeah, like the thing with like painting is like, and I already said that so many times during sculpting videos, but painting can rise up graphics thermal like a lot. The more you paint, the more graphics thermal will rise up. So I have always to be super careful by doing this, but I can always not like avoid it, because like, yeah, if you want to make this, it looks good, or if you want to make it like believable, yeah, you have to do something. You have or to paint. You can also use flex if you want to use that. I'm not going for a like an artsy look, so to say. I still want to have my Jecta signature in my creation on this, but I am still going a little bit out of my comfort zone, because like it's it's not like how I would normally do all these weird looking structure to everything. So and this is also like a good practice of my other upcoming project that I am going to work on. I cannot share much detail about this yet, although I released a few hints here and there in my previous video. So if you want to guess what my next upcoming project is going to be, then good luck with guessing. I think already maybe spoiled a little bit too much, if I have to be honest. I think you already know me and know stuff, then you probably can already guess where my next project is going to head. Okay, so we're now 2%. There we go. See, like it's not like you cannot like avoid doing like this. Like it's just probably going to be ending up like 3% graphics thermal. I was hoping for 1%. I can maybe try to downscale it again and see if that will save me stuff, but I doubt it, because that was also going to like, yeah, not going to happen, and we're going to lose so much detail. There you go. So much detail on the sculpt itself, so I'm not going to do that. And once the scene is done, I can even go like higher with the graphics and see how that is going to look like. This is pretty much like sharp, and it's still 2%, so that's nice. So yeah, it really depends on like where this sculpture is going to be used for. In my case, it's going to be used for just a normal scene, but it can also be used for like, but if it's going to be used for that people can actually walk around it or use the sculpture, that is maybe a little bit too high for just one pillar, especially like with this like type of detail. So yeah, it really depends on what you want to do. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to like, how you say it, like put moist and dark stuff around all these edges that I created in the previous video, so that like it's broken down, like the marmor is broken. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use for a darker paint, and then we're going to use soft paint for this, and opacity as low as possible. And then I'm just going to paint very softly over this. There we go. And I will do that with all the gaps that I created. And once that is done, I'm going to create another layer. There's going to be a ton of layers on this creation. So, and then we have to think of moist and mass and all the other stuff still that we have to work on. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of detail. The good thing is that the rest of the creation doesn't have to be so detailed, like especially like the distance creations doesn't have to be, because you're not going to be seeing it from up close. But these pillars are pretty much like close to the camera, or going to be close to the camera. But these needs to be a little bit higher quality, and like the manor and the trees in the distance is all going to be a little bit more like lesser quality of sculpting, because you don't need to sculpt high stuff if you're not going to see it anyway. That's waste of resources, waste of time, and time is not on my side actually. So yeah, we have to be careful with that. Okay, so that top part is done. We have to paint here. I'm curious where this is going to lead me. Is it going to be 3%? Is it going to be 4% even? I do not dare to say. I really do not dare to say. Thankfully, it's only maybe this one is the highest. Maybe the trees. Trees are going to be... They're also going to be trees in the front. So the trees has to look a little bit good. It's possible. They're going to be like creepy trees. So I'm not going to make like normal trees. I'm going to make them as creepy as possible, because it's Halloween. So it needs to be look like something that you really don't want to enter. But yeah, it can still be, I don't know, for people, for the daredevils, it can still be something you want to see. So for both, I would say. I see that because like I upgraded my graphics a little bit higher with the sculptor, that like some of the gaps looks a little bit different than I had before. I think that's pretty much it for the shadows. Let me really quickly look around. I'm not forgetting something here, maybe. There. Here maybe a little bit. I don't have to be so precise with this. And here we need to... There we go. How are we doing? 2%. Okay. Maybe a little bit darker here still. Okay. I'm going way too much for never. I'm also considering, because like dreams, shadows in dreams is not always the best. So what you can do is like eventually create fake shadows around objects a little bit better. It's probably what I'm going to do eventually, but it depends on how I set my lights and stuff like that. So I only do that in the end phase, almost at the end phase. Yes. So that's layer 3. Now we need layer 4. We are far from done. Layer 4 is going to be like gray again, but then we're going to use the donut going super small, and then we need no subblends. I am still surf snap, yes. And then we're going to fill this one again. There we go. What I can maybe do... Wait, I have another idea. That goes maybe a little bit faster. I have another idea. I'm going to make a new color. We use white. But I'm also going to use green already. This type of green, and we're going to combine that. And then I want to have a little bit of brown. Dark brown. This maybe. Yeah, it's almost, it's not really, it's hard to tell. Maybe I need to have a little bit better green. Okay, and then we're going to add this. No, I'm doing it wrong. Oh. We should be able to spin this. How did I do that again? Wait a minute. Why is it not working? Like normally you can spin this. Let me do it again. Don't know why it's not working as I want it to. Hey, you cannot spin this anymore. That's weird. Did I change that? I hope not. Oh, there we go. Now it works. I don't know why it was not working. Like normally, yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe I added too much different stuff. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Let me add some white in there. Okay, that's good to me. So now that we have like these color scheme, now these three colors will do randomly. So, oh, let me spin, go on, spin. So now we have also like added brown and white and green to go for. And maybe make it a little bit bigger for this side. Maybe opacity is a little bit too low. There we go. I'm just going to do it randomly. Let me first do the mirror side. That will speed up the process a little bit. So now I'm just going to like add a little bit moist to the stone. Not really be like, it doesn't look like it's instantly there, but like when you're like zooming out, you can see that like you actually did something. So it may not look like something you do, but it does. It does. Only very light. By doing this. I'm still not sure if it's doing something right now. I have to be careful with my... Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Okay. Okay, let me spin it in multiple directions. And sometimes it's really hard to tell if it's doing something. Just want to do it a little bit randomly on the places. Alright. Looks already good so far. And what I'm now going to do is turn off the thing again. Do this side real quickly. And I'm not going to paint just as long as I did on the other one, because I already have it on 2% right now. But just so that there is a few here and there. Oh, it stopped spinning again. Alright. So now there's like a little bit of green mixed in between. I could have done that in the beginning though. I know. For people that like paying attention to it. I know that. Sorry about it. Forgot it. Okay, so now I'm going to look for what else can I do, right? I'm going to use subblend. I'm going to use a sphere, and now I need to like look very closely. I'm going to opacity as low as possible. And then we're going to add a little bit shadow on the stone structure. So, like I said, that like it looks like it's been worn out by a lot of like weather conditions. Especially in the gaps, that's always where it moist the most. We're just going to take advantage of that. Bottom a little bit, under the edges. So do that here as well. Just so that like this whole thing comes alive, basically. And I must say that it already does pretty much come alive. And the spots here and there. I think we are almost done. Just looking at spots there, I think can have a little bit more love. Okay. So that looks pretty good. And you have to keep in mind we're going to have the proper lighting eventually. So this is all going to be reflect eventually pretty well. Yeah, so this like looks pretty good. Maybe I've overdone it maybe on this side a little bit, but it's fine. It's only on the bottom, so maybe we can like morph that away. There's only one more thing I want to do, and then we need to with a little bit more opacity for this one. I'm going to make this super sharp. So yeah, when it rains, it pours. but when it rains, it's sometimes like, especially on pillars, it leaves those stripes, right? Oh, I see. Wait. Oh, I'm still using subblend. That's why. So it leaves like those water stripes, like dripping. When like water falls down, like in the, it leaves that like strokes basically, and then it like gets into the stone, and then it will be always there. Pretty hard to get it out. So maybe not over there, by the way. So we have to do that. Random, okay, like random spots. Like so. Make a big one over here. Goes all the way down. And hopefully you can already tell the detail is going to be there. I'm at 3%. No, I'm still 2%. I'm shocked actually. Like normally I would have maybe reached already the 3% by now, but apparently not. It's good. It is actually good. Okay. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to have it everywhere. Just like small spots here and there. And that should be good. And then The edges here a little bit. Oh. And then on the sockets, we need that here as well. But already wet over there, so like so. That's small detail. Nobody's going to ever notice it. I think that's pretty much it for like this the stone, and now we can only do. Let me blend this. Make this a little bit darker. So, especially under, I think this is where it gets the worst of everything because of the spare is in the way and it gets like all soaked and wet. Okay, so I think we pretty much have nailed it so far. Put it on the edges. And the good thing is we only have to clone this one for the other side of the gate, so we can reuse this as one asset, or maybe I was like maybe for other purposes as well, but I don't really know if there will be another useful situation for this creation. %. I'm happy with that. So now we only need to see if we need some like proper like lighting and stuff like this. So stone does reflect a little bit, but not too much. So we have to use that in our advantage. So I'm just going for starters, 20% on metal a little bit. And probably going for 80% of roughness. But I have to see it with light actually. So we can just like put lighting in here real quickly. I will mostly work with all diffuse lights in most of the scene. The reason why is because like I need to set a certain mood. The overall lighting, however, I can use, of course, or I'm always going to use overall lighting with my sun gadgets, and depending on where I want to have the moon, because the moon is the one that's going to reflect everything in the world. Like making the moon big as possible. It's going to be a big moon. We're not going to use these settings though, but it's just for starting. Okay, pull this down. And the mood, yeah. Now I'm already working on the sky, which I shouldn't do it, but I kind of want to know how it looks with the lighting on and stuff like that. So I'll make it gray looking. A 75, and then we also need to put like clouds and stuff like that on it. I'm just testing a little bit out. Sun maybe. And of course the sun must not be visible. This is not going to be it, guys, but like but it's just I need to see real quickly, because I kind of want to have the moon shine between because there's going to be another one over here somewhere. So it should be there. And I'm going to use the sunlight for as the moon reflection. So instead of like the sun, it's going to be the moon, but the moon is shining, or like, well, the sun basically reflects the moon, but if we have to be technically, but you know what I mean, hopefully. And this is going to be white, because it's white reflections going on there. And then we need to put maybe a little bit more brightness. Like, it really depends on like the settings that I'm going for. I'm doing that really quickly. I'm going, of course, in the final version, I'm going for a better fine tuning, but maybe this one should be darker, like so. This is already pretty nice, to be honest. And here we need to swear. Also, what we need is that the fog range, we're going to put that super far. The reason why is because, like, otherwise you can see that these lights, so if you're going into play mode, you can also see like there's like fog around the light spot. So what I'm going to do, we still need fog. We still need to like have a fog like in the distance, but not like in the front as much. So I'm going to add that manually eventually. But I'm not going to do that in the overall scene. So the overall scene will be as far as possible, but we're going to eventually add some mist and fog in the distance, so that gets like that moody, creepy feeling. I must say that we already pretty have like a decent looking environment right now, so this is pretty much how I already have envisioned it. The only thing is that I have to fine tune. I may be considering to go for I want to say a little bit bluish, but I think maybe that's also not so super good. Let me zoom in this. I can like fine tune this a little bit better. Because I kind of want to make it like dark, but not too dark, you know what I mean? Like the base color. I think this maybe might be it. And it almost looked like super clean, right? Because we're also going to use clouds. Like, we're going to have the moon in the distance, but I also want to have like that the clouds are in front of the moon a little bit. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do exactly the clouds. I think I will do a combination with maybe painting and sculpt a little bit. I have to see how I'm exactly going to do it, because I do not really know. To be white, sure about that. I also need to find a good place. I kind of want to have that these pillars are like light reflection. So that's basically what I want to go for. Let me put one more time the puppet into the scene, because we need to know, what was it, 40, 143 a little bit, come on. 42 is also fine. So, yeah, so this should be fine. The height is good, at least the proportion of the puppet and the whole thing is fine. So, if we have the road here, like, I have to think of like how is the like the perspective of like the pillars is going to look like, you know, like I don't want to maybe put this on the side a little bit like this, and so like it's should have maybe put a ground underneath. I'm doing that really quickly. so I know exactly if I have like the right level on this. Go. This one seems fine. This one, absolutely not. The size. There we go. Okay, so now we know at least that this is like yeah, and the moon is not going to be in the front, or like it's going to be in the front. Like it hovers a little bit above the mansion in the distance. So I need to be looking very carefully about how I want to have like casting the shadows on the ground. Although it's going to be blend in with the ground itself, but I think this is pretty much how I have visioned it. Yeah, this is pretty much it. And also now, because like these stone things, I maybe I know that I said I do it at almost at the last part of the creation. That's also not true, because like sometimes I already add the all the light stuff in it, so I know how my sculpts are looking in certain. I also want to use like contrast a little bit, not too much, and losing a little bit of saturation on this one, but not too much. I would say 40 maybe. And this is the most important thing to do, because this is basically setting your whole mood of like your color scheme, especially the first two. Like the last one you shouldn't really touch. That's the highlights. You can do it, but that is going to look weird. But am I going for like what type of tint am I going for? That's the question, right? I think this might be it. And then for midtones, we can use a little bit of like red, or we're going for a little bit warmer. Maybe this. But again, this might change in the end result, of course. But I think we already get there. We're already pretty much getting there. And of course, we can still change the settings here. Like, maybe we need to set saturation a little bit more down as well, 40%. Pretty much. Yeah, we're not going to see this side anyway, so this hole is lit up a little bit too bright. We're not going to look at that direction anyway. It's just like one scene camera placed here. I think, which one do I like better? I don't know. Maybe 70%. There's also 70%. Do I like that? So this one, 70. Oh, huh? Oh, yeah. Right. This one, so. I kind of like this already. And keep in mind, you have to like imagine there's like a pathway going in the distance. Maybe some grass fields, like rotten grass fields, like dark grass fields. Pathway in the front. And then like trees on the left and the right. So trees left, right. Some pumpkins in the foreground. Pathway in the foreground. I kind of want to try to do some leaves on the ground, which I'm not very good at. Never made something like this, so I have to see how we're going to nail those things. But I kind of want to try to do it, and then we're going to work with the camera settings to make it all nice and good. But to be honest, I pretty much already happy about the outcome so far. I must say that the sculpture, overall sculpture, is not very good yet. I can maybe try, and what I mean is that like you can see the stripes a little bit too good, and maybe I have to put this to even 35. Not happy. Definitely not happy. Maybe I need to have it even higher. The thing is, what I'm looking at it, like this is way too bright for my taste. Too dark for my taste. The water effect, like the moist effect, is way too bright. So I have to find a good balance. Or just find another... oh no, just another position, right? I mean... You can also do it like this. This side is a little bit better. I'm cheating right now. Yeah, I painted a little bit too much on the other side, which was not my intention. I kind of want to keep the color of the like of this thing here. Like we using this thing here, and I kind of want to use this. And the reason why, because it's fake lighting, but we're also going to have like pumpkins in the foreground with lanterns, like old lanterns, basically. This is not the same side right now. So something like this. That should be good. Oh, I don't know. Do I like it when the light comes from the side a little bit? Like if we have it like this. Oh, I am on the same side right now. Yeah, that's weird. I have to use this side for this one. Yeah, I mean, it's not so bad. It's really not so bad. Kind of like this. I'm going to connect these all together. So I only have to like change one. What happens if we use the UI for like the U for this? The U cycle? And what happens if we're going to play around with? It's not going to do much, isn't it? I can also make a paint version, like do this. Can maybe use a little bit more loosiness. Could be, we could use more loosiness for this. Just to give a little bit more like softer edges. Because like I'm not going for like real life stuff. Let me put that setting as well. We don't need impasso. Yeah, to give a little bit more of like smoother feel to it. But I don't want to have it too much. Maybe 20% actually. How's it going to look? Keep in mind, this is about like the distance that we're going to look at. So I might maybe going to change some of the settings still of this whole sculpture. But I think that we pretty much have done this in the way how I want to. I don't want to have it like look like it's paint looking, but I also don't want to make it look like it's too like realistic, you know, like having a little bit of like in between stuff. Maybe 15% is already good enough. I think 50% is the sweet spot. Yeah, I think 15% is the sweet spot. All right, so this is pretty much it for this video. We did some painting. I am maybe still not happy with the overall look of the sculpt itself. So I can maybe lighter up some paint, some dark paints that I did before. Like here, it's way too dark for my taste. So what I can do is like gently make it lighter with my painting. So that's what we're going to do. You're not going to see me doing that in the next video. Like I said, I'm not going to do every sculpt video out there. Simply no time, and I kind of want to do like a little bit of like chunks. So I only want to show you what my idea is. I only want to show you how I sculpt, what my techniques are, and the rest I will just like do it at my own pace and time, so I can hopefully finish till the end of October. That would be pretty cool. I kind of want to finish this well before the end of October. Not sure if it's going to. I don't know. I know myself too well. I'm not sure if I'm going to like manage it to get it in the, before the end of October. If not, maybe I will save it for next year already. I don't know. No, I hope I will do it in this month, but it all depends. It all depends if I can manage to do this. But I must say that this pretty much is already the way how I want to have it look and feel. It has a really like a nice like smooth around it. It's almost like it's made out of paint, right? But like I said, I don't want to make it look too paintery, but I kind of want to make like it look smooth, because the whole creation around it is going to be in the same outcome as this one. Like the trees, and I really want to make a nice contrast between the distance, the middle ground, or the middle part, and then the foreground, basically, with the trees. The trees are going to be challenging as well, because like I'm not going to make normal trees. I'm going to make those wacky, weird trees that like do not really exist in the real world, or maybe they do, but I don't know. But that I'm aware of. But making them a little bit creepier, so that like this place is not from here, basically, or maybe it is. Like there has to be something spooky about it. So what I'm going to do in my own time, I'm going to fine tune this pillar, and by that I mean the dark spots. I'm going to make them slightly lighter, so I can make them darker overall, if that makes sense. And then we're going to make what I'm going to do next, I think I'm going to make the fence. We still need to make the fence around these things. I can maybe record that as well. I think that's fun to watch, maybe as well, me doing that. So that maybe we're going to like sculpt and recording. I think that I do the trees maybe recording, and I think the last thing that I'm going to do is then the I don't know what I'm going to show you as the fourth video. Maybe the manor itself is going to be in challenge, but I don't have to make it super realistic or super high detail because it's in the distance. So we can save time with that one. So I'm not really sure if that's nice to look at during the videos. So yeah, so the next video is going to be probably me doing the fences still. So you're going to see how I sculpt the fences. It can happening that there is already other stuff created in the meantime. But we're going to do the next video with the fence, I think, because it's also going to be really wacky and weird. So that's maybe fun to watch. How I'm going to tackle that, because I never did something like that. And then maybe the last video is going to be maybe the trees or something like that. So I don't really know which order I'm going to upload these videos, but that's my plan to do them. And everything in between, the manner, the mood settings, and all that, I will do it in my spare time, because I don't much have the time to record and to create, because like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm faster than if I'm not recording. So I hope you will understand that, but I still want to show you a little bit bits here and there of like how I sculpt, how I paint, how I put like lights and stuff like that. So how I make like my overall lighting. That's always the best part, I think. Like lighting and painting is always the most fun part in Dreams to do, because then everything comes alive. And I think the overall mood is already been set. So the right color scheme, hopefully the right color scheme, depends how the trees are looking and how the pumpkins are looking. But I think I already pretty much are I'm close to how the overall look is going to look like in the color scheme. So yeah, I cannot wait to show you more. Probably the next video, fence, trees, you'll see it when it's out there. And hopefully I can finish this before the end of October, so you can all play this around Halloween. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to dream, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.